entrepreneurship. There's a lot of people that have jobs and they're looking to make that shift over to the right side of that quadrant. And we know on this particular side, once you get acquainted with it, it becomes a little bit easier to maneuver. But if you're just getting started into the space, you can quickly lose yourself. Stress yourself out, and eventually fizz out. And if you don't have the right mindset, you're gonna fizz out and never really come back, perhaps, and you may just go back to where you came from, and you may think that it's not for you. When in actuality, on the contrary, it could be for anyone. It is for anyone. We just have to understand that we all can be in position to play the game. And in order for us to play the game, we have to really open up our brain and elevate the mindset. And we say this all the time, to read, really educate yourself on the stuff that you're passionate about. I imagine you guys want to do something, but whatever you want to do, really make it your purpose to be a purpose. Whatever you're doing has to be a purpose. You can't, you shouldn't just go about something and it's like, okay, you're doing it because you may be piggybacking on somebody else's ideas, even though it's fine. You can, gain, make some, gain on that. But in actuality, at some point, you may get to a point where you're tired and you're stressed out, and because you don't have the passion behind it, because it's not a purposeful thing, at some point you're gonna realize, man, you know what is my purpose? I need to do something that I really love. Like the business that we're in as life designers, helping people get to where they're going. It brings joy to us, actually. We can do this for the next 100 years and be satisfied knowing that we are taking care of people and helping them get to where they're going. If it's something that I have no passion for, at some point in 2.2 seconds, it's over. You're probably not even going to hear from me ever again. And in this space, in this business that we're in, we don't live. Like if our bills was paid and everything was all good and wealth was there all the way through, I can do this for free for you. We can do this for free all day and not have to get paid, because it brings joy to us to be able to be in this position to do that. And that's what we want to give you guys as far as like the mindset, because you can get into something and lose yourself. And if you don't have the right mindset, it's done. And that's what we want to show you today. So we're going to start off with that prayer, making sure that we all on the same page. And then we're going to get into some fun stuff.
All right. Well said. Very well said. So just a quick moment. If you guys are all muted already, just take a little second. We're going to go into this prayer really quick and we'll get started. Heavenly Father, we're grateful to you for providing our daily needs and for our spiritual and physical nourishment. Bless us, O Lord, and allow us to circumvent temptation. We affirm that you are omniscient, all-powerful, and loving. Make us a financial pillar in our family, O Lord, and may we be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. We ask you for good provision, beneficial knowledge, and accepting deeds. Heavenly Father, we ask that you remove any curse and lack of wealth, and that you shine your strength upon us in our needs. Father, meet us at the crossroads and rearrange our direction according to thy will. Give us a peaceful heart and quiet mind so we remain teachable. With you, Father, miracles are for real. Guide our hand and lift our hearts towards success. Father, we praise you for the entrepreneurial spirit. We thank you, Father, and ask that you keep us blessed. Let all of our achievements honor you. When the lines of ethical and honest decisions start to blur, grant us absolute clarity. May our businesses be built on godly principles and steered by godly truths. Father, you have given us two hands, one to receive with and the other to give charity. May the activities related to this event be a success through your intervention. We ask all of these in your name, Father. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, that was written by our very own Mr. Blake Carrington, who is at the bottom right of our screen. I don't know where you guys see him. And he wrote a very, very beautiful prayer. So thank you, Blake, for that. And like I said, we're gonna from now on start with that, because I think that gets us in a good mindset. Tonight's class will be about just that mindset. Whether it's mental, spiritual, whatever it is, we want to be in a good space overall. So, financial, all that good stuff. So, mindset, right? That's what we're going to be talking about. Emotional intelligence. How many are familiar with that term, emotional intelligence?
Yes, I want to hear for some people with this one, because years and years ago, emotional intelligence is a conversation of fairly new to me. But in actuality, I've been living that way. And I've been on a path to, improve myself over and over. Like every day I look to improve myself, whether it's, the tonality that I have in my speech, finding ways to build my wealth, and finding, ways to interact with people more and more, and how to communicate with diverse communities and things like that. I didn't realize that I was actually training myself to be just that, to have the power of emotional intelligence. And if you study emotional intelligence and you really dive into it, this is the kind of stuff that can really change your life. I mean, just being able to communicate with a baby, being able to communicate with an animal, your spouse, and people at work that you may like or don't like. When you find yourself with the study of emotional intelligence, it doesn't matter who the person is. You're going to be able to communicate with that person. That like your enemy may be my very best friend because I study emotional intelligence and I know how to get to the level of any person that I'm talking to. So that's what we want to be able to show here, because people always leave money on the table because of whether it's the attitude, their appearance, their tone, the sound of their voice, how it come across to people. Some people are just rough around the edges and they don't know how to go about communicating appropriately. And we have to be mindful. A lot of us just don't give a damn about how they come across, because they just think, oh, this is me. I'm gonna be me. Yes, you can be you. No one's looking to change you. You can be that person, but you can be someone even better. You can be somebody even greater, somebody that can really understand other human beings and their plight and empathize with everyone around you to be able to have a great conversation or even to make money with the person. All right, so that's the overview of what we got going on here, and we're gonna share a few.
Really quick, how many are familiar with the term? Give me a show of hands. Emotional intelligence. Who's heard of it before? Okay, great.
Give me your thoughts on that, Jerry. Jerry, you raised your hand. I know some people raise their hand. They don't like to be called out on. I know you wasn't hoping for that.
We got Blake, Michelle Reed. She's heard of it. Yeah, give me that little hand symbol on your.
Talk to me, Jerry.
I mean, when you hear the term emotional intelligence, what is that?
From what I remember, it was just understanding your personal moods and self-awareness.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
very,
once
very,
you control and aware of that, you're more like to control how you behave towards certain, people or situations. So that's from what I remember. So
yeah, that's exactly one of the key things in being emotionally intelligent is self-awareness. You have to be aware of how you come across. You have to be aware of who you are and how you are acting towards certain situations and certain people. That's definitely one of them. Anybody else?
Michelle Reed, I know you got some stuff. To say there.
It's about self-balance. Knowing how to handle yourself in diverse situations and being able to act accordingly and professionally at every level. Just being able to handle the stress and come out on top with every decision that you need to make, so your decisions are successful and your relationship is strong.
Self-balance, good point. Very good point. Absolutely. Anybody else? That when that term emotional intelligence or the phrase emotional intelligence comes to mind, what's the first thing? What are some of the things that comes to your mind? Blake?
When a person sets the stage or something sets the stage, don't mean that you necessarily have to perform on this stage.
Very good. Yes, absolutely. All good keys, all good points. So when it comes to emotional intelligence, obviously, like I said, we talk about a mindset. But in order to get in a certain mindset, we have to understand how the mind works. Would you agree? Would you guys agree that you have to understand how your brain works? Our brain is a very, very complex organ in our body, and there's many, many components to how the brain operates. So I think that if we understand the very basics on how our thought processes operate and how our mind works, that we can better be able to understand our emotions and become emotional intelligent. Would you agree? So I want to share with you something really quick. And during our research, Wes and I are always researching. We're entrepreneurs, so we're always looking for new information, always reading and looking ways to spread this information. During our research, we've we came across a bit of a diagram that we want to share with you. And it kind of talks about our limbic system, you know, and the way our brain operates and how thoughts enter our mind. So I'm going to share this slide with you really quick so you guys can see it. And it talks a little bit about how the brain works. And if you understand this concept, things will start to become a little bit more clear and start to make a little more sense for you. So can you guys see my screen?
Thumbs up.
All right, cool. Let me hide the meeting control. Sorry. All right, so this is our brain. This is the journey, right? This is the communication that our thoughts have with our mind. I don't want to, let me get this. We got another body coming in. All right. So obviously our brain, when a thought enters our brain, it goes through a process, right? I don't know if you guys knew this, but when a thought enters your brain, it enters through your spinal cord at the very, very base of your spine. So the communication between your emotional and rational brain is the physical source of emotional intelligence, right? The pathway for emotional intelligence starts here in the brain, right at the spinal cord. Your primary senses enter right there. And it has to travel to the front of your brain before you can start to think rationally about any experience, right? However, first, it has to go through the limbic system. How many of you guys heard of the limbic system before? How many psychology majors do we have here, or you know, so it goes, or doctors or medical professionals or anything like that. So it has to travel through the limbic system, and the limbic system is the place where your emotions are generated, right? So we have, naturally we have an, oh man, sorry about that. Naturally we have an emotional reaction to the events before our rational brain is even able to process it. So emotional intelligence requires effective communication between the rational and emotional centers of the brain. How many of you guys knew that? So think about this for a second, right? A thought gets into our brain. Let's say we're sitting in traffic, and all of a sudden we're cruising and we're making good timing on our way to wherever we're going, and we get into that boom traffic jam. And then as you're in that traffic jam, you got this guy that's constantly cutting you off, or you know, somebody cuts you off. Immediately you react, you know, and you go straight to that front part of the brain, right? You go from the spinal cord, and it bypasses the limbic system where you start to feel, and it goes right to the front part of your brain.
And the middle finger goes up.
Right, and the middle finger goes up. So that right there is not allowing that thought or that emotion to process in the limbic system, right? The limbic system, but again, like I said before, is where, you know, it gives time for your thoughts to kind of process. It gives time for your emotions to be generated. If you allow these thoughts to kind of process, you sit back, you take time, and you say, look, everyone else is in traffic. Everyone else is sitting here with me. You know, whichever guy's cutting me off, I mean, you can cut me off, but really, where are you going? You understand? If you allow time to process and let that thought process through your limbic system, then when it goes to the front part of your brain where you start to think rationally, maybe that middle finger, you know, is a second thought now. Maybe it's like, you know what? Let me embrace this. Let me go ahead and kind of think about it before I react, you know, and that goes with anything, not just traffic, not just anything. It just goes with any type of emotion that we are feeling. Our brain naturally goes through a process. And if we try to bypass that middle part, that process in the limbic system, it causes an unnecessary or unwarranted reaction where it could probably affect us long term. You know, maybe a few of us cursed our bosses out before, you know, when he denied us, when he denied us that vacation time, or you know, denied us that promotion or whatever.
Now it's messing with your money.
And now, you know, now you start to, but if you kind of thought about it and, you know, processed it and let your limbic system kind of generate and process those emotions, maybe you wouldn't have cursed them out, and that probably would have saved you your job or saved you that promotion, or maybe, you know. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys as far as understanding how the brain works. You know, like I said, our brains are programmed a certain way. You know, and who are we really to go against how our brain operates? But if we learn how to generate these emotions through our limbic system, and we learn how to really manage them, then we can start to think more rationally. How many of you guys can agree with that?
I think every human being on the face of the planet can actually agree with you. I mean, just think about, you know, just interacting with your kids, and you know, the kids just like, you know, not listening and just running around, and you want to make sure he gets the information that you're trying to get him, but you get to a point where you just snap. You know, you don't ever need to go there. You know, it's like you got to find a better way to communicate. When you're not able to get your point across, it's because you're not doing a good job at communicating, and you're not allowing your brain to process and do things to work in your favor. When in actuality, you know, you can't. The universe is going to throw a lot of bombs at your front door, and when the universe throws bombs, it's up to you to do a couple of things. Whether you're going to react to it, or you're just going to fall back and let it do its thing, and then you move forward. Because at the end of the day, this whole conversation is it's all about you can't lose your emotions on things you don't control. And I talk about this all the time. Like, if I'm in traffic, I'm in traffic. I don't control traffic. Why am I mad? Why am I going crazy? Throw on an audio book and just let that mesmerize me. Let that take me to another space, another avenue, and I'm learning at the same time. Do something constructive. You know, when someone cuts you off in traffic, the person is in a rush. The person probably didn't even realize he cut you off and he's gone. Next thing you know, you're back here losing your mind. Your blood pressure is up. You try and chase this person down. You're not thinking clearly. The next thing you know, you go crash into somebody else. Now you ruin your whole entire day because of it. Because, you know, it's ignorant, and it's like we lack information or education, for that matter, when it comes to these things. And when all we have to do is just like pause,
Right,
and then go, because that's gonna save you everything. That's gonna save you money. That's gonna save you time. That's gonna save you energy. That's gonna keep your blood pressure low.
right.
Continue.
No, good points. And the reason we bring this up is because all of us on this call are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, right? And those of us who are in business or getting into business understand that there are many, many, many bumps in this entrepreneurial road, you know, and we know that there's going to be times where things are great and things aren't great, you know. So the reason we really touch on allowing our brain to process these is because we have to understand this concept of emotional intelligence. And once, like Wes just mentioned before, you don't control your emotions, you don't control your money.
How much money have you lost? Because you lost your cool. How many girlfriends did you lose because you lost your cool?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? How many husbands or wives, people getting divorced? Divorce rate is up by 60%. It's because human beings are not rationalizing with their brain and with each other, and just learning from each other, opposed to just acting out. Don't act out. You know, we don't have to.
Right. Absolutely. So again, sometimes we just have to allow our brains to work the way they were meant to work. You know, let the emotion enter through your spinal cord, let your feelings start to generate through your limbic system, and then let it get to the front part of your brain so you can start rationally thinking about how you want to react to that certain emotion. And that's with anything, with our kids, with our family, with whatever it is, our money, or like I said, this road, this entrepreneurship road, again, there's a lot of ups and downs, and it will really, really benefit you if you understand what your emotional IQ was. And that's another thing. I won't get too much into it because I want you guys to read a book. For those of you who haven't read it already, it's called Emotional Intelligence by the author. His name is
Travis Bradberry.
Bradberry.
It's Emotional Intelligence 2.0. That book, once you start reading the first 3 chapters of that book, you're gonna devour it. It's gonna change your whole entire life. You know, especially if you haven't been thinking along these lines as far as like, you know, emotional intelligence and thinking about, you know, how you react and how you carry yourself, whatever. But yeah, so we're gonna get into some points of it, like self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, social management, and all these key points that you need to understand. And also, once you start studying emotional intelligence, look at movies. And when you read books, identify with characters that are similar to you. And if you identify with a character that's a dick or an asshole, or excuse my language, then you have to address yourself and be like, listen, damn, that person reminds me of me. I must be something. I got to change.
Right.
Or you may be a person that's in the right direction and you get along with people well, and you can identify with that person too. Be like, you know what? I like this character. I like how this person comes across and handle himself. I want to be more of that. I want to study more. I want to acquire more information to be better.
Absolutely. So this chart right here that we put together, it just kind of breaks down your 5 core feelings as a human being, right? Good decisions require more than just factual knowledge. You know, they're made up of using self-knowledge and mastering your emotions when they're needed the most. And all of our emotions are derived from these 5 core feelings: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, and shame. So if you look at these categories here, you have, like I said at the top, you have, see if I can use this laser pointer here. See if it works. Yeah, all right.
You're rocking and rolling right now.
All right, so you got your happy, sad, angry, afraid, and ashamed. And all of these emotions have their different levels of intensity. So without going into every one of them, you know, let's just pick, you know, a common one. Let's say when we're happy here, right? We're happy, but we're not like, you know, at a highest level of happiness. You know, we're at our lowest level of happiness. You know, so think about the terms that are associated with that. Glad. I'm all right. I'm glad. I'm contented. I'm pleasant. I'm tender. I'm mellow. You know, you're in a good mood, but you're not, you know, super excited. So this may be when, you know, I don't know. Let's see. What's an example of a low intense happiness where I don't know, you just ate something that's really good and it tastes really good. You're like, all right, I was hungry. I just ate something. I'm happy, but I'm not like, you know, I just ate something. Let's talk about when we get paid. We get paid on payday. You know what I mean? That might elevate to a medium level of happiness. You know, now you're gratified. Now you're feeling good. It's payday. I just got my check. I'm getting ready to go out. I'm getting ready to go buy some things, pay my bills or whatever. You know,
until you realize you got to deal with the bills, and then you're sad.
And then you jump back down to, you know. But then let's think about a high level of intensity. Let's say during COVID, you haven't seen your family or loved ones in 3-4 months, and finally you get to see them. Now you're overjoyed. You just saw them for the first time in 4 months, and you're like, you know. So if you kind of understand these different levels of intensity of our core feelings, I mean, these are kind of how they operate. You know, we have different levels of intensity. And that goes for every emotion. You know, like I said, our emotions are derived from these 5 core feelings. And if we can control these, if we understand what each of these mean, you know, as far as, you know, the intensity levels and maybe where we should be when it comes to certain things, it'll help us really, really control our emotions, you know. So when something goes bad, you know what I mean? Something goes bad that we didn't expect to happen. You know, maybe we didn't get paid this week. You know, the check was late, or our car broke down, or, you know, we got into an accident, or a relative, you know, God forbid, died, or something of that nature, was really sick. You know, we can try and manipulate these emotions, you know, so that we can avoid this area right here, right? Or this area right here, you know, or actually, you know what, this area rather. Furious, outraged, you know, because really, I don't think that any of us should really be living in this area at all.
You know what? In my life, I have eliminated a good number of these. So I'm thinking about afraid, you know, because a lot of people have fear. So my thing is, I'm always working on eliminating fear. Whenever I have an opportunity to get in front of people, to go through the fire, something that I think I should be afraid of, or most people are afraid of, I go right into it. As far as angry, growing up, I watched my pops angry all the time. Got nothing done. So I'm about to be very much the opposite, going the opposite direction of that. So I have fuel or fire to do that because I experienced the other side. As far as sad, you know, we have control. We have control over our happiness and what makes us sad. So whatever that makes you sad, somehow, some way, you have to find a way. You really have to create your own space of joy. No one's gonna give it to you, and no one cares to give it to you.
Right.
Not even your spouse. You think they may have the best interest for you, but at the end of the day, you have the best interest for you. You may be flying high, doing your thing, and your spouse may not want you to do all that. They want you to be right here with them. And yeah, while you love it, but that can make you sad at the same time because you're not going after your goals, and you're allowing for another entity to really dictate what happens with your happiness. I don't care who it is. You don't let the outside forces dictate your emotions and how you react to certain things. All right, so a lot of people have it messed up where they allow them to conform or become something that they don't want to because of a significant other, because of a child, because of whatever. At the end of the day, if you're not doing you, at some point you're gonna hit all these marks. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna be angry. You're gonna be afraid. You're gonna have low energy. Who wants that?
Let me. I wanna call on our partner here and one of our chief information officer, Blake. He has a good concept that may be beneficial to you guys. So now, again, going back to this chart here, like I said, when I said manipulate our emotions and manipulate our feelings, let me give you an example, right? Most of us, like Wes said before, are not allowing fear to enter our spirit, our brain, our mind, right? But the way you can manipulate that, again, fear is not always a bad thing. Fear, it protects you in a way, So if you allow, now I'm not telling you to be afraid of something, but you can't let fear kind of overpower or control you. So if you allow fear to, if you assess the fear and kind of, analyze it, it can help bring out another emotion that, may eliminate that fear all in all. So I'll let Blake, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I want you to touch on your concept on fear really quick and how it can be useful to you with, in controlling emotional intelligence.
Speak a little bit louder.
I don't know. Am I loud enough?
Yep, that's good.
Oh, fear is a self-help mechanism. It's something that is installed in all of us. It's like, I think it's better for me to explain it like this. It's a house alarm. And you have to cut down the sensor of the alarm to allow intruders in. And that intruder might not be a bad intruder. But if you have the alarm set high, then nothing to come in. So fear in a protection form is great. But when it's too high, then it's too bad. And most of the time we allow fear to be too high because we overthink it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
You guys hear that? Fear can serve as a protector, right? It can kind of, if you kind of acknowledge the fear, recognize the fear. Now you're not going to go ahead and you acknowledge the fear, so you won't make a hasty decision. You're going to be hesitant. You're not eliminating fear, but it's serving as a protector for you, so that can give you a little bit more confidence, maybe, trying to move forward with what you're going to move forward with. So again, that can work for any of the other emotions, if you really, instead of eliminating it, kind of analyze it, adapt it, and let it go through our limbic system, and then we can come to a good rationalization of controlling our emotions, So I'll move on to the next slide. A couple of you guys mentioned before, or some good points as to what emotional intelligence looks like, and really it's got another person coming in. It's really comprised of 4 main skills, self-management. I think somebody said that before, self-awareness, social awareness, and relationship management.
Relationship management, that's big.
Right? So what's self-management? What is that? What is self-management? Self-management is what happens when you act or do not act, right? Self-management is your ability to use your awareness of your emotions. Sorry, we got the kids in the background going crazy. You guys can hear that. It's the ability that allows you to use your emotions, to use your awareness of your emotions to stay flexible and direct your behavior positively, right? That's exactly what self-management is. Now, how many of you guys can agree? Anybody have any concept about self-management? Anybody have any ideas or want to chime in on that? Self-management skills. Self-awareness. What's self-awareness, right? The need for self-awareness is right now has never been greater, you know? Assume that the only time to learn about ourselves is in the face of crisis, right? Most people want to start to learn about ourselves when something bad's going on, or we're kind of pinned up into a corner or anything like that. You know, we tend to embrace the things that which we're uncomfortable with, you know, and kind of put the blinders on the moment something makes us uncomfortable. But it's really the whole picture that serves us, right? The more we understand the beauty and the blemishes, the better we're able to achieve our full potential, right? Self-awareness techniques. You know, you have to be self-aware. Like Brett said before, we have to understand who we are, how we're coming across, maybe allow ourselves to be teachable, be coachable, to understand, you know what, maybe my idea is not the best idea, or maybe I have to kind of, you know, check myself, look myself in the mirror, you know, kind of see if I allow myself to be coachable and be able to read other person's emotions or personalities, maybe I can kind of, you know, get along better with this person, or you know, have a better relationship with that person.
You ever seen those people that walk around with the emotions in their face, whether they're angry, they're disappointed, or they're sad, whatever it is? You should be able to control that. You should be aware that you're doing that. And a lot of people are not aware that they're even doing that. They're just walking around with that face. And it's not a cool thing, but that's where, you know, we have to kick into that education, because, you know, we have to be aware of everything.
Right. Let's get into these last two concepts, and I want to get into something a little bit more fun here. So, social awareness, right? What's social awareness? Social awareness is pretty much your ability to pick up on emotions in other people, right? And understand what's really going on with them. You know, that's a technique as a life designer you can start to pick up. You know, I know many of you are big on energy, probably. You know, you can pick up on somebody's energy. You can see if someone's, you know, reacting to you a certain way. Right now, I can pick up the energy on this call right now. You know, where is the energy? That energy better be here. But no, I mean, it's really the you know, the ability for you to accurately pick up on someone's, you know, emotions and what's kind of going on with them. You know, what social awareness does is it ensures that you stay focused and absorb critical information. You know, stay focused on what's going on, and let your brain absorb certain key factors that are kind of poking out and sticking out to you.
Yeah, because it's a way to you know, offend yourself without offending yourself. Because you can have somebody like way across in the room just like me mugging you, and you know, and if you're not aware, I'm always aware because I can sense the energy. Like you don't have to be in my vicinity for me to know that somebody got something out for me, and I can feel the energy. Like if you're not in tune with it, then you're not in tune with it. But once you become in tune with it, you start to really acknowledge everybody in that room. You understand who has it out for you. And my thing is, in order for me not to feel any kind of way in my heart or in my gut, I have to confront that entity. I have to know why you're me mugging. I have to understand what did I do wrong, if I did anything wrong, and I have to fix it if it's fixable. If it's not fixable, then what has to be done is you have to remove yourself out of that environment, or you have to remove that play, this thing that's messing with your chemicals in your body. The last thing you want to do is be around people or individuals that allow you to develop certain brain chemistry or body chemistry that really eats you up. Because there's certain things that can really eat you up. You know, going to work and having a bad person, having a person that you don't like at work, could be a boss, and you hate to get up in the morning, and you know you got to confront this person. I want to confront that person because that's the person that's eating me up. If I don't confront that person, I'm always going to feel that way, and I'm going to want to leave, maybe find another job. I don't got to find another job. I just got to come back. There's one thing right here, and that's it. And people are afraid to do just that because one, they think they're going to lose their job. No. If you have the right tonality, if you have the right courage, you can fix anything. You can maneuver any way. In fact, you'll be appreciated for it. Because now you look like a person that cares about this other person that may have it in for you, realize it was probably just a miscommunication in the first place. And until you address it, you will not know that.
Absolutely right. That brings that's a good. You want to say something, Blake?
No, go ahead.
Okay, all right. If you guys have anything to say, feel free.
Yeah, jump in there. Whatever that resonates with you, jump in.
Feel free. It's an open forum here. I'm just these are just bullet points for us to kind of, direct the conversation here. But if you guys want to jump in for sure.
Yeah, when it comes to like emotional awareness, it's good to like listen to someone speak before you even say anything.
Say that again, Steve.
No, I said sometimes it's better to let the person speak fully to understand where they're coming from before you cut them off.
Great point. That's a great point. And I'm going to get into why that's important is because most humans, when we speak with someone, we're having a conversation with someone, we might say something and then immediately we're thinking about the next thing we want to say without really thinking of, interpreting what that person's telling us. We're not really listening to them. We're hearing them, but we're not listening. One of my old bosses actually told me that. He's like, listen, if you have a conversation with someone, really, before you say anything, just kind of sit back, hear them out, listen to what they're saying, listen to what they're telling you, because you'll be surprised just based on what they're telling you. It can turn into a whole different conversation or a relatable conversation, something that they may have said that you're like, you know what, I can relate with that. So that's a great point, Steve. Honestly, a great point.
You're a true light designer, right, aren't you?
Definitely, 100%.
So the last one really quick before we get off of this slide is relationship management. Just like I said, Wes was just talking about that. It kind of goes right into this, to segue right to this next aspect here. Relationship management, right? What's relationship management? Relationship management is your ability to bond with others over time. Hold on, we got somebody else coming in here. Oops. It's your ability to bond with other people over a period of time. People who manage their relationships well, they're able to see the benefit of connecting with many, many, many different people, right? Even those they may not be particularly fond of. So the weaker your connection, the weaker the connection you have with someone, the harder it's going to be to get your point across. And really, that goes to what Steve just said. If you're not really relating to that person, or you're not letting that person really, you're not really interpreting what they're saying, you're not getting it, you're just not vibing.
They can feel that.
How can you really relate and how can you really get your point across, So
I mean, it's all about like finding a common ground. You got to find a common ground and then work from that. You know what I'm saying? Then you can build up a conversation off of something that you both have in common, and then you can work your way from there.
Right.
Exactly right.
And that's a great, and like I said before, many of us are business owners, and at some point we're going to have to sell something to someone, right?
Yeah.
There's a concept called selling without selling. And that part of that concept is really relating and being relatable to the person you're talking to. If you Steve, you work at a car deal you own an auto body shop.
Yeah, correct.
And when someone comes into the auto body shop and they say, this is what happened, my car's messed up, this and that, you can jump right in to say, okay, it's gonna cost you this much. But if you're relatable and you really kind of empathize with that person and say, man, it's unfortunate this happened. You know what, this actually happened to me like last week, or happened to a friend of mine last week. They went through the same exact situation. The guy started a conversation. Now you're becoming relatable with that person, and when it comes time to talk about numbers, it's a bit easier now. They're already sold right then and there. So you just sold that person without selling them anything. You already sold that person.
You gotta develop that.
And that's a skill. That's how it can be beneficial to you guys as business owners. Is really think about how you're going to relate. Don't jump right to the end goal and say, okay, that's great, that's cool, dude. Or what's the term? That's crazy. That's crazy. Don't you hear when somebody says that to you? You say this whole story, and they're like, "That's crazy." You know damn well they weren't listening to you, and that's so frustrating. That's crazy. So, but if someone were to really, engage with you, they'd be like, "Wow, this guy was actually listening to me."
You know when somebody's not listening to you, and if you're the type of person that like to jump the gun and just interrupt somebody in the middle of conversation. At the end of the day, you're gonna walk away from that conversation, and people are gonna understand that, well, this person is full of this. I don't like that person. You know, I ain't like the energy. I ain't like how this person cut me off. Even if you didn't cut them off, the fact that you may be having a conversation, you think you're having the most cleanest conversation.
Yeah.
Well, that conversation is going so far left, and if you're not aware of that, you got a problem. You have to be aware of when things are going south, because you have to be able to fix it in that moment.
Absolutely right. So that was a quick little, we have many more slides after that, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys a bit of an understanding about your limbic system, your brain, how it operates. Remember, thoughts enter through your spinal cord. They travel up to your limbic system where you generate your feelings, and then they ultimately end up the front of your brain, where the frontal cortex of your brain, where it helps you rationalize, right? We talked about the 5 core feelings, right? Happiness, sadness, anger, fear, and being ashamed, sorrowful, remorseful, things of that nature, and the different levels of intensity, and how if you really understand that, you can manipulate certain feelings to open up other good feelings. And we talked about the 4 types of emotional intelligence, and what understanding these 4 skills: self-management, self-awareness, social awareness, and relationship management, right? And there's much more. Again, the book that we recommended, Emotional Intelligence 2.0 by Travis Bradberry, is life-changing. I mean, he even gets you to take an emotional IQ quiz, like a test, to really understand, to see how
high, by the way.
to really see how you are as a person, how you can start to alter certain feelings or different ways that you are, and it really opens your brain up, honestly, because having this ability to control your emotions in certain situations will be prove to be super beneficial in the long term, and especially when it comes to dealing with people or running your business. So
for the rest of your life, you got it for the rest of your life after that.
Right. Any comments, any questions, any concerns, anything you guys want to say or touch on what we talked about just now? I'm going to get into just 5 more tips that I want to share with you guys, and how to really manage your emotions so that you can be more productive. But before we get into that, I want to just, if anybody has anything to say, really quick.
Anybody? One.
I mean, emotions is like, it's rough. If you're having a bad day, you're meeting people, you got to put on this character. You got to put on this mask. You can't just walk around with an angry face or a sad
walk
face.
around with that face.
Right.
You can't. When you go behind a closed door, you can put that face on. But when you're in front of people, you can't do that.
No.
You'll just throw them off.
Even behind closed doors.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you have to say this. Listen, everybody goes through things. I'm going through something right now. Okay.
Same here.
How do I get over this thing? Because being angry ain't going to solve the problem.
Nope.
Being sad ain't going to solve the problem. Let me be proactive and do something constructive here. You get what I'm saying? So once you start getting into that kind of thought pattern, your life starts to shift. Yeah, you really start to shift. Like, I'm in a happy place all day. Like, I'm hardly frustrated. I don't get frustrated on clients, on members, on people. I don't allow myself, because you know how I feel? If I allow someone to dictate my emotions for the day, you know how I feel? I feel like a small person, a little person.
You know why? Because, and really, if he allowed someone to dictate his emotions, right, and he's sitting here angry about something all day long, what do you think that other person's doing?
Living his life.
Living his life. Is he affected by it? So think about it. Why is it worth it? Really, why is it worth it to harp on something? Again,
That's very powerful right there. That's super powerful. Not allowing anyone to dictate your emotions. That's a very powerful tool right there. I mean, I think going to the gym helps. Like, that's my way of staying, in a happy place.
right. That's awesome. And we're gonna
touch on that too. That's a good one.
That's what we're about to touch on in these next steps. So that's great, Steve. That's awesome.
I'm glad you interacted, Steve. We need more of this from people.
So I want to get into just really quick 5 ways. If you guys have a pen or a piece of paper, or you guys are sitting down, or maybe you want to jot it in your phone, just kind of jot these little 5 tips down because it's going to help you with ways to organize your mindset so you can be more productive. If you guys know that the average person has 70,000 thoughts each day,
Every day.
think about it.
I think I have like 100,000 plus.
70,000.
Say that ain't enough.
That's average. That's on average. You know, they could be
That
more
sounds
than
like me.
that. Probably have 70 thoughts in an hour, like 70,000 thoughts in an hour.
How about a half
so-
an hour?
Right. So the reason I say that is because, you know, we as again, I keep saying entrepreneurs, and because we are entrepreneurs, you know, we all.
I don't care if you're working on 9 to 5, we're
We're
entrepreneurs.
all entrepreneurs. And the reason we touched on emotional intelligence first is because if we don't learn how to organize all these thoughts throughout our day, throughout our lives, they have the potential to wreak havoc on your productivity, right? If you succumb to any of the flurry of the thoughts running through your head, if you succumb to your mind being, you know, all over the place, your mind starts to get disorganized, right? And the more you start to let these thoughts be intrusive, and the more you let them control you, the more power you give them, right? So we want to be able to control these thoughts. We want to be able to be in a space where we can control these things, you know? Most of our thoughts are just thoughts, you know, are just that. They're not facts. So when you find yourself believing the negative,
Shoot yourself.
yeah, don't shoot yourself.
Shoot.
But, you know, figuratively speaking, you know, and you know these things. Your inner voice starts to say that again.
This is why we love Wes.
Yeah,
Right,
definitely.
exactly.
Wow,
When you start to find yourself believing these negative thoughts, it becomes distracting, you know, and your inner voice starts to talk to you, and it becomes very, very difficult to slow down this momentum. You know, your thoughts start to build up, and all this process starts to build up.
Oh,
and
I need to
kinda like-
see.
What was that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. You know, think about, you know, letting these thoughts kind of like a snowball, you know, you started the snowball at the top of the hill, you know, you let that, and you start rolling that thing down. What happens? It starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, at some point it's going to hit something. It's going to be detrimental. Right. So, you know, we have to learn how to control these thoughts. You know, we have to know how
It's
to,
only thoughts.
70,000 thoughts a day, right? 70,000 thoughts a day, the average person. So here are some of the 5 steps. Here are 5 steps that we recommend as life designers to help you control these thoughts and help you be more productive. Step 1, find the right amount of challenge in what you do, right? Find the right amount. Now, when we say right amount, it's not too little and not too much. Find that balance. You know, when you're trying to get work done, it's easy for you to lose focus and succumb to these thoughts when whatever we're doing is way too challenging or way too easy. You know, we want to thrive on a healthy challenge, something that stimulates us without being too difficult, and something that produces, without being too difficult, or something that produces anxiety or, things of that nature. So when you consciously and carefully choose whatever task that you're choosing, you increase your chances of achieving a good flow. So think about, again, that snowball. Let's control that thing. Let's have somebody maybe at the bottom of the hill, or maybe midway through that hill to kind of control that. So step 1, find the right amount of challenge in what you do. Not too little, not too less. Step 2, we've talked about this 1,000 times. Take control of your emotions.
Or you don't control your money or anything else in your life.
You don't control your emotions, you don't control your money, and it can be very, very detrimental to you moving forward. So when it's possible to control how things make you feel, then you have complete control over how you react to your emotions, right? How many can agree with that? When you start to have complete control of your emotions, then you can have control over how you react to those emotions. Again, go back to that diagram that we showed you. First, you need to be honest with yourself. You need to be honest with yourself about what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. Don't try and mask it. Don't try to look for an excuse or a justification or anything like that. Be honest with yourself. Why am I feeling this way? Why is it that I'm going through this?
Who's making me feel this way?
Right. And then once you start to do that, it becomes that much easier for you to channel the emotions and produce the behavior you want, right? So the key here is to just identify and label your emotions as you experience them. This will kind of help you relax and figure out what's behind your emotion, you know, and help you move forward. So step 2, take control of your emotions. You know, we talked about it a thousand times on this call alone, and we're going to keep talking about it. Step 3.
Can I say something real quick with that as well?
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
I think with noticing what triggers you or what controls your emotion, how that helps you as well as knowing what triggers you. So if I know going to certain places or being with certain people might like get me upset or get me in a bad mood, or if traffic might get me in a bad mood, maybe I know how to like avoid those situations by maybe leaving the house 30 minutes earlier, or you know what,
exactly.
staying away. So I think that also helped with notifying, you know, what triggers you and like puts you in a bad mood, or sort of just avoiding these such situations. I think helps a lot. You know,
That's a good tactic. I mean, I do it.
Hey, Mario.
You know, go ahead.
Sounds like we have a life designer there.
Sounds like we have a life designer. Jerry, is Jerry a life designer?
Actually, Jerry just got his life design. He's climbing his way up now.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Nah, great point. Great point. Because I do it too. If I know if I can avoid certain situations, don't put yourself in a situation where you know you may be triggered to react a certain way. Avoid it completely. Like you said, leave 30 minutes early. I don't want to run into this guy that I always run into at a toll because he's an ass, you know, or whatever.
Exactly.
Just you know, try and avoid situations. Very, very good technique. Step 3, sustain your focus. All right, what does that mean? Anybody can just hearing that step, who can kind of give me about what it means?
Get rid of all distractions. Whatever distracting you, get it out of the way.
Right.
That's a big thing for me. Big thing. I mean, like I'll be having a busy morning, and you know someone's coming with the whole story that has nothing relatable to anything I have to do. That situation right there, you just want to easily move away.
Right.
Or girls.
Or girl.
I was gonna say that a lot of us create our own problems. You know, we create our own mental health issues. You know, we got a wife, but we got to be out there, you know, with the fellas, you know, hanging out, talking to girls. You know, maybe something happens, and next thing you know, energy. Your wife picks up the energy, and next thing you know, now you're getting in trouble. Now you're probably drinking somewhere because your wife is not letting you sleep.
And now you sleep on the couch. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's a domino effect of our decisions. The decisions that we make have total effect on us, and we have to understand that and realize that. If I go left and there's fire left, and I get hit with that fire, I'm gonna be traumatized for the rest of my life. I made that decision to go left. If I go right and there's happiness there, and this is the way it goes, I made that decision to go in that direction. So I'm good here. So you have to be mindful of every decision. So you got to be ready to take on the battle that's getting ready to be taken on when you make these kind of decisions, because I don't want to be in trouble. I don't want to get in any kind of trouble, because I know one problem leads to another problem, then another problem. Next thing you know, you're committing suicide.
Oh no!
I'm just saying.
All right, let's not go there. Let's not get to that point.
Hold on. In West's defense,
I'm adding caricature to what I'm saying because it's facts.
Nice, true. Think about it.
Because
people we
we're
know
gonna go on
have,
the break now, Wes. This is
have,
getting
put themselves out of their quote unquote misery. So what was that?
The West explains it as simple as it is. Life is very simple. We try to go around it. Hey, that's exactly what people usually lead into. We're here to actually stop that.
This is true. You're absolutely right. So sustaining your focus. Think about how frustrating it is for us to sit down and tackle something that's super important, right? Only to lose focus when we expect it to die, right? And how many of us do that on a daily basis? I'm going to sit down, I'm going to do this, and then something just takes our brains to thinking something else, or to losing focus.
Yeah.
If you understand this concept right here, there's been studies that have shown that proves this, though. It takes time for your mind to become fully immersed in whatever you're doing. You know, the studies have shown that it takes 5 to 20 minutes before people start to focus on something. 5 to 20 minutes. So if you can force yourself to and persist that sit down and really avoiding distractions for about 5 to 20 minutes, that's when the chances are much higher that you're going to be able to sustain your focus and stay and keep that state of, flow going. 5 to 20 minutes. Sit down and really, allow these distractions to come in, kind of tackle them, but then kind of, give yourself a little bit of time. Studies have shown that this works.
That's called discipline.
Right.
I want to add something to that. I mean, I'm sure everyone's on social media. One thing that I found works for me is when I'm working, I turn all my notifications off on social media. I don't want to know nothing about it.
Nice.
You know what I'm
Very
saying?
nice.
I'll go in there when I feel like it. I'm not gonna let the robots call me to it.
Yeah. Right. That's good. I do that too when yeah, same
I
thing.
put group chats on mute. Whenever I'm busy, I'll put group chats on mute.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
No wonder
When you get to it, you get to
you
it.
don't respond to our text messages. No, I'm joking.
Oh gosh, don't do that.
I'm joking. No, but it's true though. It was really about to getting me into my next point. And one of the best ways to do this is to put away or turn off all your typical distractions, your phones, your email, your social media. Keep an eye on the clock. Keep an eye on your clock until you've done. Keep an eye on the clock, right? Put all the distractions aside and keep an eye on it.
Hold on, brother. Quick question, man. Tell you when y'all partner very, very close.
What was that? Oh, all right. Maybe I forgot to mute. So yeah, keep an eye on the clock, put all those distractions away. And once you've done nothing but focus on your goal for about 20 minutes, you're in good shape. You're in good shape. You've sustained your focus, right? I've been working on this for 20 minutes. Now you have momentum going. Great dialogue right there. Step 4, take breaks. Take breaks.
Brain needs it.
Take breaks. Too much of
That's the
something.
hardest thing.
That's the toughest thing, right?
That's the hardest thing for me. I can't take a break.
Why not though? Elaborate on that.
Because I'm so focused on what I'm trying to get done that I never take a break. I find myself working straight 5-6 hours in my home office.
Yeah.
If I don't have to go to the bathroom, I won't take a break. I won't take a break. I'll just be doing it all day, all night.
We have to try and fight that. You have to try and fight that because too much of anything, is going to, we're not going to be productive enough.
Not too much of a good thing. Too much of anything.
I mean, taking a break is very healthy to reset your mind and get your mind re-energized for new thoughts.
In fact, it'll bring clarity to you. Like if you've been doing something too long, but if once you fall back, you give yourself a few hours or maybe a day or two, and you come back with like a monster. You come back ready to clean house. So it's good to refresh your brain and go back on something.
Right. You have to take breaks. It's actually in certain states, it's a law that if you've worked a certain amount of hours or minutes, you have to take a break.
Yeah.
Our bodies are just simply not wired for prolonged periods of work. We're not wired that way. So
Facebook and Google allow you to sleep over there.
Yeah, Google. Yeah, that's right. In the Google offices, there's mandatory sleep breaks. If you work, now you were mandated to go into a nap pod where they have, you can charge your phone. I think the bed that you lay in massage, and you can literally they make you take a 15 to 20 minute nap, like not break, go to sleep, and then come back. Every so often they do that. So again, like I said, our bodies just aren't wired for prolonged periods of work. It might be tough for sitting, to sit on a desk for 8 hours, and you think that that's the best way to get all of our work done, but that in fact can work against you.
You're defeating yourself.
You're defeating yourself. And studies have shown that the most productive work cycle tends to be 52 minutes of uninterrupted work. 52. How random is that? Right. Followed by 7-minute breaks after every 52 minutes. Right.
7-minute breaks after every 52 minutes?
Every 52 minutes takes 7 minutes. You know why? Because it's an hour, right? So you want that last 7 minutes of the hour.
Right.
Take 7 minutes to yourself and then get back to it. If you work straight through, it's going to work against you. It's going to work against you. Again, our bodies and our minds aren't wired for long periods. Whatever we're doing, we're not wired. We have to, we have things going on in our life. Like honestly, we forget to take breaks sometimes.
My wife has pulled me out of here.
Right. We want to, and next thing you know, we're looking at the clock, and it's we start at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Next thing you know, it's 7 o'clock at night. We're like, wow, I just realized I haven't eaten anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? you know, we just, sometimes when you sit back, in that period of time, you say, okay, let me get, you know, it just helps you organize things and be more productive. You know, this is the concept of all these tips are to be more productive. We want to be more productive. And if we implement these strategies, we'll be more productive in our work.
It's good mental health.
And it's great mental health.
Great mental health.
It may not be,
Okay.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. What was that?
No, I was saying okay.
Okay. To many of us, it may not be realistic to really implement this concept, you know, and to have our schedule this way. But for most people, you already won the battle by just remembering to take breaks. That's all. Just be mindful that you have to set those breaks every 52 to 7. 52 minutes of work, 7-minute break. You know, just remember to try and do that. Set an alarm, you know, on your phone, something, because, you know, again, you don't want it to work against you. And the last,
that's a good idea.
right. And the last of the 5 steps is shift sets, right? Who can tell me what shift sets mean? You know?
You got me there.
All right. So the concept of shift sets is once you've taken your break, you now got to shift your focus back to what you're doing. No matter if you're in the zone, if you were in the zone before you took your break, you'll find sometimes that you're back to square one when it comes to focus, right? So if you do a proper set shift, you have to reorganize your thoughts by following steps through the 4 things up above, right? Especially if you're having trouble getting back to that task you want. So you have to set shift sets, you know, give yourself a second to kind of get back into that zone, you know, maybe leave yourself a note before you go into that break, leave yourself a note where you left off, kind of like a bookmark, you know, and then when you come back, you can boom, right back into it, you know. So give yourself some shift sets. You know, you'll find that if you get back too quickly, it might work against you too, but it has to be done purposefully. You know, you gotta, you know, again, leave your note, let that sit there, come back to it. Okay, this is where I was. Okay, let's get back into it, or however you want to prepare your brain. So let's bring this all together really quick. We talked about the 5 sets, the 5 steps, right? The first one was finding the right amount of challenge in what you do, right? That's step 1. Step 2 is take control of your emotions. That's a big one.
That's probably the biggest one there.
Step 3 is sustaining your focus. Step 4 is remembering to take breaks. Step 5 is setting shift sets, you know? So if we bring that all together and we organize everything together, we organize this and we organize our mind to experience certain things. It isn't really difficult, you know, but it does require attention and monitoring. You got to constantly give it attention and monitoring. And if you lean on these 5 steps, anytime you need to do something, you'll get a lot more done. So talk to me. What are your thoughts about this? Was this, you know, what do you feel? Anything you want to add? Another step that we may not have mentioned, you know, something that you think would be a good tactic to being more productive in your everyday situation.
How you feel about this, Bobby?
It's interesting. I study it in a different way, but it's interesting.
What's the way you study it?
Talk to me. Come on.
We can learn something.
I mean, I look at it in alchemy. You know what I mean? I look at it in astrology. It's a bunch of different ways to look at it, but just knowing your knowledge of self is basically, you know what I mean? If you know yourself, you know the situations you're gonna be in, or if it's a drop of a dime, you know what I'm saying? If you're in a situation that just happened to pop up on you, you know how to control yourself in those moments. And it's not really based on your emotions. It's just more so of an instinct thing where it's like, all right, what's the best case scenario that you can make out of it? Once you think in a positive manner, you thinking, what's the best case scenario?
What's the best outcome
for the situation, for whatever situation you're in?
Right.
Can I just comment on that, Bobby? I do agree with that whole philosophy. Knowledge of self is definitely important, and it's a practice of peace. But it takes a lifetime to master yourself. So without other entities coming in and studying other things, then you get lost with trying to master yourself. A whole lifetime is there. So I think at some point that we're going to things.
Sorry for cutting you off, my bad. But it's more of a light where it's like when you think of it, when you think of everything in existence being here forever anyway, is you look at that in a more positive light where it's like, all right, I'm gonna keep adding to that, and that's how you keep yourself in that grace.
I agree. I agree.
I definitely agree. It's a practice of peace.
And
Right.
I think that however you think about it, however you view these, certain ways to be more productive, there's a common denominator, right? And that's being positive. That's thinking in a positive frame of mind, a positive mindset. So if you apply the positivity aspect to whatever you're going through, I think that it'll work. It'll work. So again, everyone has
Absolutely.
certain philosophies that they believe in. Everyone has certain things that they structure their lives around. But I think the common denominator is positivity. And that
Right.
will start to resonate. In tremendous amounts. Anybody else? Great point, Bobby. Great point. I like that.
We got Abel Whitehead's in the building. What's up, Abel? He's smiling in that picture. I don't know.
I thought that was him for a second. I was gonna say, man, he is smiling for a long time.
You got
right
good
now.
emotional intelligence.
You must be talking about some good stuff here. It looks like him.
Any more points you want to make?
Let's see. I think that's it on my end. Like I said, the purpose of this class was to kind of just, talk about ways to be more productive, talk about the emotional intelligence, talk about a mindset. And I feel like, I know that most people think that term has been overused and saturated, but again, it's really meant for us to really start focusing up and thinking how we can be more productive again. We have to think about productivity all the time. How can we be more productive? How can we be better? How can we
self-improvement every day,
improve ourselves?
For the rest of your life.
How can we remain teachable, remain coachable? You know what I mean? And the fact that you guys have rocked out on this call with us for an hour and a half, and we had the technical difficulties in the beginning. And
Good emotional intelligence on you.
Means that you guys are remaining teachable and coachable. A lot of you guys might have heard of a lot of these concepts before, or again, you may have different philosophies, but the fact that you stood here means that you're allowing your brain to interpret new things and new concepts. So that's really the intention of tonight's meeting, is to just kind of, the dialogue was great. I loved it because I learned some new things, that's the purpose of these calls, is to just have us kind of talk and communicate with each other and kind of learn from each other. And again, for those who didn't, who weren't really speaking, they at least were listening, and interpreting things. So I think it was a great conversation,
What's up, Steve? What's up, Jason?
Jason.
What's up?
What's going on? So for those of you who don't know, we do these webinars constantly, often. If you go to our website, lifedesignersllc.com, you go to our media and events, you can see the list of our events and when the schedules are, and you guys can book them. They're absolutely free. I recommend that you if you want to join and you recommend someone to come with, or if you know someone who might be a subject matter expert in certain things that we're talking about, absolutely have them and invite them come to the meeting, because again, it's all about learning and it's all about education. And we try to, we don't try, we do. We do these things.
Don't ever try again, right?
Right. We do these things because, it's information being passed along. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that's what Life Designers is all about, is educating and passing along information that may be useful to someone that needed to hear it.
Join our community. We're just gonna pass y'all can start utilizing this number to communicate with us. It's our community. You don't have to call us, just text us, and you can stay abreast with all the events that we have going on.
Wes, are you guys gonna have like a community, like a post page where everyone could post, what everyone has to offer?
Absolutely. Well, we have that now. We have the, it's through our Telegram, community. We have the Help Welcome to Credit Book Club. We have the Multiple Streams group. We have things of that nature. So, we have that. If you guys need that, we can shoot you guys an individual text. Guys, if you don't mind just leaving your numbers if we don't already have it. I think we have your number already, Stevie. You're part of that group.
Yeah. I believe
just
so.
put us on mute.
Yeah, but if you guys want, to be part of that group and kind of build a network, leave your number in the
Or text us. Text us
or
in the
just
chat.
text us. Yeah, text us. I'm sure we have it already. Like I said, you guys are on this call. You guys got here somehow. We either text you or or you got it on social media. But our next event is on Sunday. This Sunday, it's the book club.
Oh, yeah.
We have a book club, and
There's a delay on the book. We do have a book coming out called Health, Wealth, and Good Credit, The Blueprint to a Fantastic Life. It touches on everything that we talk about as a life designer, as far as emotional intelligence, having the right mindset, and creating abundance for yourself, multiple streams of income, opportunities, and things like that. It's just like a whole life-changing information that's in there. We don't want to jinx it anymore. But this is the last month that you should be hearing about this before it comes out. It should be on Amazon soon.
This is when having good emotional intelligence pays off. So just to give you a rundown of the events we have, like I said, we have a book club. That we do. This Saturday, for those of you who don't know, I run a company called Inspire Fitness, and we do a body attack workout every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. I know this might sound early for some of you guys for Saturday, but if you're
That sounds good, man. That sounds good to me.
If you're available, it's a virtual event. I host it. We're there every Saturday morning. We get a quick 30 to 40-minute HIIT workout. It's no equipment involved. It's very, very judgment-free zone. There's different modifications for different levels of intensity. So if you need a modification because, maybe you have your knees aren't as great as others, or maybe, you want to step it up a notch and you want to, there's different modifications. So that's every Saturday. That's this Saturday. You can find it on our website again. It's called the Inspire Fitness Body Attack. And, we want to make sure that we're fit in all aspects of life, not just physically, mentally, and financially as well. But physical fitness is also key. We have to take care of our bodies. This is the only one we get, so we have to take care of it. So if you guys want to join that, 9 a.m. on Saturdays, we have our book club. It's every first and third Sunday. I'm sorry, it's once a month. Well, no, every first and third Sunday of the month. You'll see the list on our website. We have our Life Designer Masterclass every Monday, 6:30. We have once a month, we have our Entrepreneurs on Deck speed networking event. What's in your pitch deck? Well, we get into a virtual office like this. Obviously, we can't move around too much, and I think that this is really successful because everyone's all over the country, and we're able to communicate. So we do breakout rooms where you have 2 minutes to speak with someone you've never talked to before.
Wait, sorry to cut you off. Well, what day is the entrepreneur meetings?
The Entrepreneurs on Deck speed networking event is every second Tuesday of the month. So
every second Tuesday.
So 2 weeks from now, the date is.
Thank you.
I suggest that you guys bring everyone to this. Like, if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, this is your event because this is where you get to network with a bunch of people, and you gotta exchange information, and this is where lead capturing comes in. And this is where you start to expand your business possibly. You never know what someone has to offer. Go ahead, Jay.
Just want to make an announcement, if y'all don't mind. Nah, but if you trying to go there, I'm sorry, Mario. I don't do yoga. I eat yogurt. But
that was corny.
I don't do yoga. I eat yogurt.
What? I'm lost. I didn't get that.
Right there.
But my announcement is that that's my brother. We always take shots at each other all the time.
Uh-huh.
But I just want to say congrats to me. I got my LLC papers in, so they came back. So JLC Consultants is on the map now.
Congratulations.
Well, I did the JLC first, and then I'm waiting on the Flippersaurus papers to come back. You know what I'm saying?
Nice, congratulations, brother. Congratulations.
Got one leg in them.
Wow.
Inside of that quadrant.
Brand new business owner over here, guys. Congratulations,
right.
man. That's awesome. There's a
so
designer, by the way, too.
That's right.
Good stuff, Jason. Good stuff, man. We gotta now start to build that business. So we're gonna do it.
So
that's awesome.
Flippersaurus is coming next. So
sure.
Get the hard money going.
That's good stuff.
What else we got?
And the last event, this is probably our most popular, is the multiple streams group, how to make money while you
A
sleep.
lot of people have been asking about that. So if you're not privy to that information as far as how to make money while you sleep, just text us the 570-356-4590. And the thing about this particular group, the people that's in that group are making money, no less than 10K per month. And the idea is we're building a network within the network. So when you come into this network, you have to be building your own network, but we help you build a network. We have a whole formula in place for your ultimate success.
Right.
You know, you don't lose. You don't lose.
The idea is to see you win, because when you win, we win.
And what day is that meeting?
That is every first and third Wednesday of the month. So again, go on the website, you can see the schedule.
That's next week.
The flyers are there.
Definitely.
That's definitely next week. Multiple streams group, how to make money while you sleep.
They're making a run.
The idea is to create residual income, create multiple streams of income, and create lasting wealth. So
sounds good.
Definitely join us.
And just so you know, this is part of the whole life design. This is how we design your financial design. This is like we give you your backbone. You know, God forbid, you know, you lost a job, you're still making money. God forbid you get into business, entrepreneurship, it's not going too well, you're still making money. You get what I'm saying? So you have your backbone, and then you got your passion. You go after your passion, and you know, you're gonna, at the end of the day, you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna fall over again. You're gonna get up, you're gonna fall. But you don't have to fall all the way down. you know, you can definitely have your bills paid, you know, your regular bills, like your mortgage, your rent, or your car note, the big stuff. You know, you make sure you organize it in a way that those things are taken care of. So that way you're clear, you have clarity. You're not stressing out anymore. You're just basically going about life the way you want to go about it, and you conquer it. That's it.
And that's it. So like I said, check it out. Do me a favor really quick before anybody gets off this call. Take your phone out if you're not already on it.
Yes.
Go to Instagram and follow us on social media right now. Do it, please. Life Designers
What page?
Life Designers LLC on Instagram. Follow that. We're very active on social media. We also have our YouTube channel. But do me a favor.
Oh, the YouTube channel, please.
Go follow us on Instagram.
I'm already following.
There's a lot of stuff on there. A lot of stuff, a lot of videos. And we're starting a whole new series too. So it's coming soon.
So yeah, let's just be a part of every platform, and let's just keep building. Let's keep connecting. Let's keep networking. Let's keep growing. Let's keep learning. Let's keep, you know, being great. So that's all I got, guys. I appreciate you guys again for rocking out with us this whole time. I hope that this class was of great benefit, or you picked up something, and I hope we relayed a bunch of useful information. And again, you know, you guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us for the past hour and a half, and we're forever grateful. And we hope that we were able to, help you better understand ways to be more productive. So that's all I got, man.
All right, you guys have a good night.
If you're driving, be safe. Have a great
Thank
night,
you.
and we'll see you at the next event.
Yeah, you all have a good night. See you guys next
Thank
time.
you. Good
Bye,
night.
guys.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, good night.
Good night.